So we're in the book of Hebrews, we're in chapter 8, and we're going to be talking about the new covenant, which is going to be, which is our title. And we're going to talk about this new covenant that Jesus Christ has put into place for us. And again, we got to always keep in mind that the book is being written to the Jewish people. Yeah, the Hebrews, they wanted to go back to Judaism, yeah? And so the writer is reinforcing why they should continue to serve and love Jesus. And so it's no different for us today. We are pulled in many different directions, you know, and maybe not so much maybe in religion, but in life. You know, we're working hard, we're doing this, and we start to lose focus. And so today we're going to talk about what Jesus Christ has done for us. We're going to celebrate that by taking communion later, and then we're going to acknowledge this wonderful covenant that Jesus Christ has made for us. So we know that the Bible is divided into two parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. And we're going to talk about how it works, because it's kind of confusing, yeah, because you're going to have people tell you that the Old Testament is for the old people and the New Testament is for the new generation. Well, you know, that's not correct. The Old Testament is still part of the New Testament. It's the fulfillment of what was written. In fact, when we read this, we're going to explain it a little bit, and maybe you'll get a little bit more clear hint of what the Lord is trying to say. But let's read our scriptures. We got verses 1 to 6 in chapter 8 of Hebrews. And the key verse in everything that we read, okay, is going to be verse 6. It's from verse 6 that we're going to grab and stir things around. So I want you guys to remember this when you're reading. There's times where one verse will hold all the information you need, and the surrounding verses connects the dots kind of thing. Yeah. So let's read this. Here's the main point. We have a high priest who sat down in a place of honor beside the throne of majestic God in heaven. There is ministry in the heavenly tabernacle, the true place of worship that was built by the Lord and not by human hands. And since every high priest is required to offer gifts and sacrifice, our high priest must make an offering too. If he were here on earth, he would not even be a priest, since there already are priests who offer the gifts required by law. They serve in a system of worship that is only a copy, a shadow of the real one in heaven. For when Moses was getting ready to build the tabernacle, God gave him this warning: be sure that you make everything according to the pattern I have shown you here on the mountain. But now, Jesus, our high priest, has been given a ministry that is far superior to the old priesthood, where he is the one who mediates for us a far better covenant with God, based on a better promise. So, you know, you read this and we, like I said, you can look at verse 6. That's kind of where the whole thing is kind of building around. But I love, you know, when we read this, because it's kind of like, you know, the beginning goes, here is the main point. It kind of like says, okay, get ready to hear what I got to say. You know, let your ears get ready to hear. And so our first gem is Jesus Christ is a more excellent ministry, a far better ministry. Chapter 7, as we spoke of just last week, told us that Jesus is a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Now this is really good, you know. In our study, our meeting church, you know, it was kind of just having this blast with Melchizedek, because, you know, was trying to make the connections and everything. And, you know, the best way I was sharing with them is just to explain it was a foreshadow of what was to come. Yeah, so, you know, every time we try to figure out God, it gets confusing, right? And so there's some parts of what God is doing that won't make sense to us until we dig deeper into the Word and start making the connections, you know. And so this is one, and we really had a great time talking about Melchizedek, you know, and wow, what was all this about, and all this, and just a great time. But I told him, you know, let's not get nuts about Melchizedek, because that's not the focus. the focus was a representation of what he was. Hey, how's it? I know you are. Hey, I know you too. How's it? Speaking to me now. Sorry, that's just how I am, guys. So here we're being told that, Christ Jesus is a high priest that is beyond man's priesthood. So Melchizedek, rather than that order of Aaron. Aaron was the one that we really say that Aaron is where the first Levite system or the priesthood system started. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at. It's kind of like this system that got put into place. It's really cool. The word's far better, more excellent in verse 6 when we read that. It's really speaking of a different type of ministry. A ministry that is far surpassed the old one that has been faced. So, in verse 1 we're told that Jesus completed his ministry. When you read that, you're kind of like, what's the deal with this, okay? When it says that Jesus has completed his ministry, it goes on to say that Jesus is seated at the right hand of the Father, next to the throne, right? So, what they're saying is that everything that Jesus came to do, he has done, and so now he is seated. That word, you gotta kind of like dig into it, and what they're saying when he said he is seated, you sit down when you finish. And so when there's making this reference between Jesus and the worldly or the earthly priests, the priest's job wasn't done till he laid down, till he died. So he was continuously working. However, when it came to Jesus, once he was seated at the right hand of God, he completed the task that was given to him. He now holds the title role and holy priest. And so his job is done, and he is intervening for us from a heavenly place versus an earthly place. So it's kind of crazy because when you hear this, you go, that's all kind of crazy stuff, right? But you have to see the spiritual part of this. So he has entered into heaven, is seated at the right hand of the throne of God, and it refers to his task being finished. Being the saying that he's now from a greater place is speaking that he's priest from heaven. He's out covering from heaven versus the one that's on earth. Yeah, so it's really cool. Verse 4, Jesus presented a better offering. The Levitical priests offered a lot of animals. We read about this in the Old Testament. Yeah? A lot of people ask, what comes to a sacrifice? Yeah? Well, no brainer, because I'm not sin. How many of you guys would have sacrificed about 5 goats this week? Yeah. I was so good. I had 4 little doves. But every week, every day when we did something wrong, in the Old Testament, we would have to make a sacrifice for our covering of our sins. And so Jesus became the sacrifice for us once and for all. So that's why we don't have any more animal sacrifices. Right? In fact, Hebrews 7:27 says, unlike those other high priests, he does not need to offer sacrifices every day. They did this for their own sins first, and then for the sins of the people. But Jesus did this once for all when he offered himself as a sacrifice for the sacrifice of people's sin. So the point is this, that Jesus gave us a better conscience, if you will. How many of you guys, when you guys make mistakes? Well, mistakes are kind of nice word, but when you sin, right, and you feel drunk, right? And how many of you guys bring up that same accusation on yourself all the time? Like, okay, I was rude to Fawn, not just rude, I was like really arrogant, and I was cussing at her and telling her all kind of stuff. And then later on, I went home and I was like, wow, that was so stupid of me. I shouldn't have done that. Lord, forgive me. But then 15 minutes later, I'm telling myself why I should go hell because I just would mess up, right? What this is saying is that when Jesus gave up his life for us, we can have peace. We can stand with confidence. I got to be honest with you that, every day I try not to sin. I mean, I don't think anybody purposely goes, I want to sin today. Maybe some guys do, but if you're a believer of the Lord, it's not your intention, right? We can go, I want to mess up today so bad, so that when I ask for forgiveness, God can just clean me up one time. Oh, that's stupid, I wake up, I pray to the Lord. That's the first thing. I worship, I sing to Him, and I tell Him how much I love Him, and then throughout the day, I do stuff that shows differently, right? And so I have to tell the Lord, I'm sorry. And what can I, forgive my heart?
Sorry.
Let me share this story. I think that's a better way to illustrate what I'm trying to say.
It's just, go.
So, when we talked about this earlier, and I shared this when we opened up, that everybody is needed in the church. I don't care where you are in your walk with the Lord. Each one of you are needed. You go, oh, but I don't serve in ministry, I don't do this. It doesn't matter. The love we have for God is needed. Remember the song that we did, Planty Kick Balls, I need you, and you need me. It is a song that talks about this relationship that we need each other in order that we're going to make it through. Well, I'm going to try not to get emotional, but I've been emotional since last week, since this was shared with me. There's a family that's struggling and demonically oppressed. And so it was brought to my attention. They just recently received the Lord, but their house is just having a lot of demonic stuff. And, as they're sharing this stuff, they had somebody bless the house and everything, but still, from what we know, stuff is going on. But this is young boy that's afraid. And I really got emotional. I wasn't so emotional, to be honest, about the house being, demonically active, if you would. But I was really disturbed that there was a 14-year-old young boy that was afraid to be in a house that was supposed to be a safe place. And so I went home after service last week and I was crying, and started praying. And I want you guys to hear this because then, I had to refocus my thoughts because you know how that sometimes the enemy will come and just tell you why you shouldn't be praying for nobody. And so I had one of those moments where I just felt like the enemy was attacking me spiritually because you got mad today at somebody. And then you was like, you could care less what happened to them. And I was like, I know I did. And I repented of that. And I said, Lord, I'm so stupid that you become really self-centered. And then I just kind of felt like, the enemy saying, so who gives you the right to pray? And I had to reposition myself. And I said, the right to pray isn't because of me, but because of who resides in me. And so I started in the name of Jesus, casting out, that spirit and asking the Lord to give freedom to that family. And I want you guys to hear this story because I'm still praying. I don't know what's going on, but I know the scripture says you pray until you get an answer. And so I pray. I got a whole bunch of guys praying. We had our mini church. I don't know how it went there, but we went there and I said, I need you guys to pray. We had our men book reading. I said, guys, we need to stand up. We need to pray. And I would say the same to each of you today. You see, understanding who Jesus Christ is and what He has done for us is so vital to our activity as believers in the name of the Lord. You see, the wonderful thing is this, the old covenant is really speaking of an old promise that the Lord had put into place with Abraham. The new covenant is the new promise that God has put into place because of Jesus or through Jesus. And we fall under the new covenant. Well, everybody does not fall under the new covenant. And we need to understand how this covenant works, how this promise works, because your security, your riches, when I'm talking about riches, your spiritual health and all those things that's given to us by the Lord, depends on how you understand who Jesus is and what he's done. So our first gem is we need to understand that, right? That Jesus Christ has a more excellent ministry than the priest. He is a priest, but he's one that's seated in heaven. He has done his work. His priesthood has been proven, right? He is resurrected, and now he speaks for us, on behalf of us from heaven. It's really cool, right? So when the devil is accusing us, the Lord stands before God, the Father, says why we should be anointed with his presence, because we have received him, Jesus, and therefore we are reconciled unto the Lord and made right. So I want us to hear this, because you know what, maybe you're going through something and you're kind of struggling, and maybe sometimes we can have this mindset that we deserve to be punished. No, we don't deserve to be punished. Not that time. I mean, if you do something wrong, yes, you deserve to be punished. But when it comes to the debt of sting and sin, Jesus Christ paid the price for that. We are no longer held in that bondage anymore. Does that mean that we are going to stop making mistakes? No. I love the Lord with all my heart, and I make mistakes weekly. Right? But the difference is we start breaking this down is that I have a heart to bow before the Lord and say, well, I am so messed up. And the Lord don't joke around with me. He doesn't say, no, you're not. He goes, you sure are. You need me. And I go, you're right. Yeah? So, the ministry of Jesus is far more than any ministry that we have seen here on earth. His priesthood is what we need the covering of. Amen? Second gem is Jesus is the mediator of the better covenant. So again, this is verse 6. But he is the one who mediates for us a far better covenant with God based on a better promise. So like I said earlier, he intervenes for us, creator and created. Right? He speaks on our behalf. And so when we read scripture, we really got to start digging at some of those words. Some words we just see all the time, we take for granted. Like better, but it's just something good. Oh, this better is something excellent, right? And so we need to realize that when he says that I am your mediator for you, better than that of the priest, the Lord is saying I am a better, more excellent speaker on your behalf than the priest on earth could ever be. And I need that. I need to know that about the Lord. So that promise that we have in Jesus is really cool. How many of you guys realize that in order for us to get to heaven, we got to receive Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior? How many of you guys know that? So, you guys understood the first part of that, yeah? Also, in order for us to go to heaven, we gotta ask Jesus into our life. We gotta say, Lord, I want you in my life. So when we do this, we are making a commitment to the Lord. We say, Lord, I'm asking you to come into my life. So when we make this commitment to him, we're saying that whatever it takes, I'll do. It is the very part of scripture it says, to lay down your life for those that you love. If we love Jesus, are we willing to lay down our lives? Now, a lot of times we think literal about things. And this has both literal and a spiritual meaning. But I really want us to really focus on the spiritual. Because if spiritually we can let go of our life, then physically it will naturally follow. Does that make sense? How many of you guys, okay, you don't have to raise your hand. Tithing is one of those areas, right? We talked about it. Why is tithing important? Tithing is just showing that you worship the Lord and you submit to him. It is the least or lesser giving back to the greater, but the blessings the greater had released on the lesser. Does that make sense? Yeah. No, makes sense, but they come to mini church again. And so when we tithe or we give offerings, right, we're just saying, Lord, because you have been so good to me, you have blessed me, I just want to take some of this and give it right back to you. Right? And so we realize this, that the covenant, or the Old Testament and the New Testament, is really a sacrificial system. Right? It kind of sounded crazy.
I got the cord.
I didn't know not to squeezing this thing so hard. Great looking. I try to stay calm, but I'm like squeezing it. Whatever. We got a hole up here, squeeze this side. I cracked myself up. Okay, so the word covenant, if I can remember where I got, means the promise, right? So, both the Old and New Testaments is based on a sacrificial system. You know, in order that it would be made right, the sacrifice had to be made. Right? That's how the Old system started, and it's even in the New system or the New Testament. Under the Old Testament, sacrifice has to be done constantly or repeatedly. You know that people went to church 2 times a day in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Yeah? How many of you know that? Yeah. So you guys shouldn't miss any church. If you guys miss once a week, chilling. I figure I'd take that on you right now. But they went 3 times a day. And when they messed up, guess what they had to do? They had to take on sacrifice for their mistakes. Can you imagine if we, since we only meet once a week, we came with all animal sacrifice once a week? They would have to get tractors to breed all right? Because we're only meeting once a week. And the last I know, I probably sinned about 5 or 6 of those days. Maybe even 7. Maybe I better bet 7. Right? And so they did it 3 times a day. We're doing it 1 time a week. We messed up. But isn't it great to understand this about the new covenant, right? Under the new covenant, the blood of Jesus Christ secures all of us a salvation and a righteousness 1 time. It's good for life, good for eternity. So we can come before the Lord, and all we have to do is say, Lord Jesus, I messed up. I'm sorry. Jesus, on our behalf, says, Father, I have sanctified you today. I have sanctified the Father. She now has the privilege and the right to walk into the throne room and speak to you one-on-one. I don't know if that does anything for you, but I'm like stinking, screaming like a girl on the inside. Because of what Jesus Christ has done for me, I have the privilege to walk into the throne room of the God of gods, who holds all authority. The beginning and the end is Him. And I get to walk into the throne room and say, hey Dad, I just wanted to say I love you. And I wanted to thank you for the sacrifice you've given up, that I am now made right to speak to you. I am so grateful that I can come to you and lay down my petition for the things that's going in my life, and know that you have a plan to make that work in my life, that my life will become a tool to bring you glory. I want us to hear this, because a lot of times we forget that in order that our life would be a tool for God's glory, so how many of you guys realize this? We live in a world where not everything is going to be good. Not everything is nice. right? But we serve a God who will cover us. And now, one of the things I want you guys to understand, you guys heard me say this before, they say, oh, when you become a Christian, life will be good. I kind of went fast on that. And I believed them. Then when I became a Christian, it was really rough. But all those rough times seasoned me and became my testimony of God's mighty hand at work in my life. Not every situation I went through was immediately solved. Not every situation I have gone through ended the way I wanted it to end. But through every one of those situations, I found God's grace, God's peace, God's mercy, and more than anything, God's strength. And that is the key to understanding becoming a tool or a vessel for the purpose of God's glory. Not every time things will work out. But God gave me the strength to make it through. I received that strength from the Lord because of Jesus Christ, who is my mediator. That who I could come through, and because of what He's done on the cross, has sanctified me with the privilege of walking into the most holy of holies and speaking to the God of gods, who releases all blessings on men. See, so that's really cool. And so this new covenant, we find that in the old covenant, the sign of this old covenant was circumcision. Yeah, they did this in the Old Testament. If you had, if you was a believer, you got circumcised. So in the new covenant, there's something different. What is the sign of the new covenant? We probably don't even take much of it, but the sign of the new covenant is what we're going to do today when we celebrate communion. That is the sign of the new covenant, when we come together and we celebrate Jesus Christ dying on the cross, buried, and then raised on the third day and seated at the right hand of the throne of God. That is what we celebrate. That is the sign. Right? That is that sacrificial system that we put into place that makes us right. Is it cool? You guys understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so when we take communion, when they tell you, don't worry about what everybody's thinking or they're saying or they're watching you. That's their problem. Our issue should just be to give Jesus all recognition. Right? We're talking about this in our men's group, and one of the things that our heart is to work on, and we're praying for, is that our church would be free to worship. And when I say free to worship, I'm not talking about singing. I guess singing can be part of it. But how many of us, we don't raise your hand, but how many of us, we shame for singing? Because maybe they don't sound good, or maybe we just don't like be heard. I don't know. Yeah. I know when I did it, because I never like people kind of like look at me, go, oh, look at that guy worshiping, or I never used to raise my hand. But they go, oh, look at that, kind of funny. I don't know about you guys, but we used to make fun of people, right? Do we limit what we can give to God during our worship service? Do you ever have a feeling like, the worship leader says, everybody stand up. And nothing wrong with that, right? Because the worship team's job is to draw us into the Holy of Holies. But sometimes, you ever get overwhelmed and you think, I have to sit down and enjoy the presence of the Lord right now. But then you become, ritual or I cannot do that because I will be doing something different and everybody's going to look, the guy's sitting down. Anybody ever you get what I'm talking about? Anybody ever felt like that? Yeah? I feel like that. I had a pastor guy. Sometimes I feel like I drop on my knees and look, if I fall on my knees, it's going to think I'm retarded today. Right? And the guys was talking about it the previous reading that. Let's just start being free. He mediated for us. It means he came in between. He closed the gap that kept us away from the Lord. And because what he's done for us, we can now step into the most holy of holies. So why shouldn't we get to the point where we're giving him whatever it takes from us? That song about the alabaster box, right? You know, that I'm willing to break open everything I am in order that I can worship the Lord. So when we take the Last Supper or communion, we're acknowledging that what Jesus Christ has done for us, and we're acknowledging that covenant, that promise made to us. Luke 22:20 says, after supper he took another cup of wine and said, this cup is the new covenant between God and his people, an agreement confirmed with my blood, which is poured out as a sacrifice for you. So we no longer have to make any sacrifices. The sacrifice now comes from us individually. Are we willing to lay our hearts down? Right? It's important for us to get this because it really positions us. How many of you guys, I know you guys probably don't even hear this. I was sharing this with my friend at work. And I said, I don't need to try to spook you out or anything. That's not my purpose. But I've been praying for your stepson. And she said, why? And I go, the Lord's been putting him on my heart. So I've been praying. How is everything? And she was like, you are like tripping me out right now. And I go, why? What's going on? So she started explaining. And what happened is the stepson walked away from church and struggling right now. And they're struggling with the mindset that he now has. So I told my friend, so what are you going to do about it? I don't know what I can do about it. I go, well, let me give you a little bit advice. I said, you think maybe the change of attitude and lifestyle is coming because he's forgotten what is required of him as a believer. That his God has now changed. And she was like, it makes sense, right? And I said, yeah, okay, good. And it's so cool because people like pointing fingers, right? So just pointing at him and this and that. I said, so what do you think God is trying to say to you now? And she goes, oh, how come this is coming back to me? I go, we all are people of influence. I said, he lives in your house. What kind of influence do you have? I go, have you ever thought about going to church again? Church hard because it'll be this and that. I go, I'm not saying church is perfect. Church is filled with people who are sick and ill. Not only physically, but mentally. We all messed up, But we come with this heart to worship Jesus, and we look to the blood of Jesus to be healed and become better people according to Scripture. Not according to the world's value, but according to Scripture value. And so she goes, oh, but this, that. And so I said, can I be honest with you? And then, she goes, yeah. I go, I think I know what's holding you back. I pray for you a lot. I said, you don't even understand how much I pray for you. I go, when you walk into our church, I said, they will know you. And she's like, what? I go, yeah, I talk about you every time. I said, so they will know you. And she started cracking up. And then, she goes, what you think? Like that, right? I go, well, your son, his choice of living, the gay life, hard to accept that. It's easy to accept that and not have God in your life, to not feel bad or feel sad. I said, what's one of my children, my son, my daughter, I would be troubled. I go, but do you know that your job is to stand in the gap and pray for them and ask God to do what only He can do? I go, you are making an excuse, so you're being an enabler instead of preaching the truth of the Word of God. And she got all watery-eyed and everything, and I said, you don't think that I worry that my kids will act nuts and go running off on tantrum? I said, for a long time, that's my mindset. I never liked kids. Because then, I don't need worry. I don't need worry to go to hell or not. I just got to worry about me, Now I get rewarded and say, I'm not, and I go, Lord, I hope they do the right thing. And I hope they continually to love you and serve you, right? Because that's the parents' heart. I go, but if you don't set the stage for them to meet Jesus, how will they ever find the Lord? You see, we make it easy for them to continue in that walk or that lifestyle. And we don't realize that the Lord gave up everything so that we could enter into His presence. The cost that He paid on the cross. I look at what He paid for me and I'm like, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that He made an opportunity for me to go into His presence. Especially because I was really into Hawaiian culture. There's so much stuff that is stuck in my head, chants and stuff that I pray every day God start to take out. Stuff that people don't know about because I went on my own and learned different things from different people. It's not good stuff, right? I believe them because I see them happen and stuff like that, and I realize that now it's demonic forces. Well, here's the thing. I was telling the people that I was asked to pray while I was crying. I was crying because I know what it's like for that young boy, right? To be stuck in a place that I was fearful. And I never thought there would be any help. So I actually started learning different Hawaiian things as a way to fight stuff. But you know what happens is that it doesn't stay like that. You start getting vindictive. And you start doing other things and deeper things, and next thing you get into this idol worshiping thing. It's crazy. It took a long time for me to get out of bondage. And so I was crying because if I don't stand in the gap for that family, even though they don't know me, we haven't even met, then who will? Is it fair for them to stay in bondage like that? You know that when Jesus went into Jerusalem for the last time, that's why He cried. The people outside are cheering and worshiping Him, and He's crying as He's going in. He goes, if they only knew that I am like a mother hen who wants to gather His children, the people of God, and put a covering over them and protect them. I want you guys to get this because you're going to stand in the gap for other people. People who are suffering, struggling, people who need to know Jesus, right? And if we don't understand the work of Jesus and how it works in our life, then how can we stand in the gap for those people? For such a time as this, who was crying? Well, I was crying in community church, and I'm trying to talk and I'm trying to stay the kind. I was crying and go, if somebody didn't stand in the gap for me, I'd probably still be a major alcoholic, drug addict, living on the beach. Somebody never prayed for me. And even when I made fun of them for praying for me, I'll smoke my joint, drink my beer. Right? I said, if they didn't tell me they love me and they're praying for me, and I didn't want to hear it, because I was fine. But later, when my life changed, I got to think, and I'll have to be honest with you guys, this is what's important that you guys get involved in this personally. It was my grandfather, my mom, and my aunt. prayed that one day God would touch my life. And because of their heart to stand in the gap, because they knew what Jesus did for them, He was willing to do for me through the work of the Lord Jesus. Today I'm set free from that. And I'm totally different. And so now, when I hear people struggling, I get my baby, I cry. Because I'm like, there's a freedom that you cannot imagine that is found in Jesus. But if we're not equipped in understanding who our God is and how He works, how can we offer them what the Lord has offered us? Does that make sense? You see, you are more valuable than you think. You know, I know it's getting kind of stupid here, but I started thinking about that ant bully show or something like that, where the grasshoppers came, and then that one ant says, "You don't want us to know that we're stronger than we think we are." So you guys realize that heaven's gates, when you hear the story, when you hear that our job is to tear out the gates of hell, what are you thinking about? Right? I want us to really get this into perspective, because the gates of hell has literally been teared down by Jesus Christ. Our job is to meet with other people, intervene in the physical realm, anybody who's struggling, and release Jesus in their life and tear down the gates of hell or the bondages of hell that they live in, that they can be set free. And just because they look like they get it all together doesn't mean they're not struggling. Doesn't mean that. So we need to realize who our mediator is and how He works, because your life is going to come to a point where you're going to need to pray for somebody. And can you pray for that person knowing that God will release His authority? Right? Scripture says we cannot be wavering. When we pray, we have to pray with confidence. Right? And I love it, because I don't pray in my confidence, because I know that if I was praying for you under my ability, we all in hell. I'm sorry. We're going down. Yeah? But the prayer that I place before the Lord isn't based on my authority. It's based on my relationship with the one that has authority, and that's Jesus Christ. Big difference. Our last gem is the new covenant is based on a better promise. Hebrews 8:7-12. I'm going to read this, and then we're going to just kind of get ready to close. We actually take communion. I wanted to make sure that we finish on time. Hebrews 8:7-12. If the first covenant had been faultless, there would have been no need for a second covenant to replace it. But when God found fault with the people, He said that this day is coming, says the Lord, and I will make a new covenant with the people of Israel and Judah. This covenant will not be like the old one I made with their ancestors, where I took them by the hand and led them out of the land of Egypt. They did not remain faithful to my covenant, so I turned my back on them. So the Lord, says the Lord, but this is the new covenant I will make with the people of Israel on that day, says the Lord. I will put my laws in their minds, and I will write them on their hearts. I will be their God, and they will be my people. Now, I want you guys to really kind of just, highlight this in your Bible, or just kind of think about it, because this actually is a reference, coming back to us. I want you guys to look at this, because we know that the Lord don't make mistakes. But then you read this, you go, oh, there was a mistake over here, right? He said, well, if the law or the covenant had been faultless, right, then why would it be the replacement? But you hear what God is saying. So the Garden of Eden, something like that, just reverse them. The Garden of Eden was a perfect place, right? We read that. And then all of a sudden, it was still a perfect place, but that perfect place now had sin seated in it. So, what is the problem? Or should I say it like this, who's the problem? Who's the problem? A lot of times people don't like scripture, yeah? They don't like to become a believer. Why? because they rules and regulation. We was talking about this, and it's so funny. You know what? People are saying, oh, so what about gay people? And I say, it doesn't matter. God doesn't hate gay people. God hates the sin that comes with being gay. God loves people. So it doesn't matter if, suppose, Fawn, you're gay, okay? And, Kaya, she just will go over the kind of steal from tomorrow's her picture on the wall in the back, So, whose sin is greater? The one that went steal or the one that not living so good life according to Scripture? The Bible says they both wrong. Which is greater? The Bible says they both hold the same penalty. What is the penalty? Death. Right? And when we use the word death, it's not the kind, physical death. It's talking about a spiritual death. That because their choice, they will no longer have the opportunity to spend eternity in the presence of the Lord. But the Bible puts rules and regulations on how we should live to protect us. How many of you guys know that if there wasn't a rule, one that we're probably all guilty of? How many of you guys know that when you're driving, you get these signs with numbers on top that tell you how fast you can go? How many of you guys don't even pay attention to it till you see a blue light someplace? Or if you're like me, I know where they hide out, so if I get there, I slow down. Yeah? Because I'm not a fast driver, I gotta be honest. You guys all should know, because a while back when we had a church event, I was stopped on the side with all the equipment for the church event, and everybody in the church was passing me. Why? Because I was speeding. Okay? So now I know where the cop hang out, I know speed over there. You guys know I still sing for it, because I still go fast. Oh, stop, they're coming. I can tell you where they all stay. In fact, I know this is not a good thing, but okay, we're going to have fun with this. How many of you guys know get an app telling you where the cops are hiding? Yeah? Isn't that cool? The problem is this. You're not supposed to be using your phone when you're driving anyway. But we do. Not everybody, I guess. But isn't it true that sometimes we grab our phone where we shouldn't? You guys might not think that's a sin, but the Bible says that the law of the land was placed there by God. So guess what? Sinner, honest, I am going that day.
Great, I got it.
I didn't see you with people. But that was just a lucky guess, okay? That wasn't word of knowledge or anything. That was just a lucky guess. But the Bible, God is telling us, the reason why God put into place this new covenant was because we as humans cannot follow rules. And so he says something different. He goes, I'm going to change this. Instead of giving you guys a set of rules to follow, I'm going to build a relationship with you guys through my son Jesus. And I'm going to have my laws, my heart, written on your heart and in your minds. And you know what? I'm going to be so honest with you. I am so grateful for the new covenant. Because, when I messed up, I know I can just bow before the Lord and sincerely ask for apology. Right? 2 Chronicles 7, right? I think it's 7:14. If my people would humble themselves and pray, confess their sins, he goes, I will heal their land. Now we can think about this from a bigger mindset about our world. But what about right here, this land right here where we hold the presence of God? Because I can heal this for you. If you humble yourself before me, confess your sins. Wow, what an awesome thing. That is why the Lord says, I have written my law on your heart and your mind that you will feel this relationship with me. And this relationship will seal the deal. Right? You know what? Go be young and dumb. I shouldn't say it that way, but I was young and dumb. I heard Uncle Bob was young and dumb. I ain't really dumb before. Yeah, Uncle. He told me to. Yeah? I don't know. You know? Now you get older and things change. What changed? You just a little bit wiser. So you know what? As you grow older, from being young, you're going to make all kind of mistakes. That's supposed to happen. Hopefully you don't make big ones that really destroy your life. But you're supposed to make some mistakes along the way, and those mistakes become great teachers if we allow it to teach us and not do it again. And so the Lord says, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail, but if you allow me to fix your heart and reconcile you and make your mindset right, you can learn from that. And by the way, I'm going to cover you so that that's no longer held against you, right? So he goes on, and they will not need to teach other neighbors, nor will they need to teach their relatives, saying, you should know the Lord, for everyone from the least to the greatest will know me already. So the Lord says, you know what, now we're changing from this physical law to a spiritual system. So you know how the Bible says that when he goes, you know there's, people, I love it, he goes, you know there's something bigger out there, right? AA is one of those good places to put it because they'll go, oh, the higher power. And you can call your higher power anything you like. It can be a keychain, right? Whatever suits you. But you know what, I gotta tell you, this is the truth. Almost everybody I heard of when I was in the AA, the higher power is God. And I love when we Paul service and I listen to these guys. You guys gotta hang out a little bit, turn off the lights and you listen to those guys. And okay, no offense, they go and like, blah, 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 and some swearing and everything, but Jesus, I get a kick. I'm like, man, even they know. And they hire power to call Jesus. How awesome is that? I see the word of God being fulfilled. It says, they will know, all people will know me. So you know when the Bible says that when the Lord returns, not one soul will not know? The Bible not lying. Because I know people that I don't know how they know, but they know Jesus. They know there's a Jesus. Right? And they know there's a God. And a trip out. But our job is to help them get past just knowing and into a relationship. Then it goes on to say, when God speaks of a new covenant, it means he made the first one obsolete. It is now out of date and will soon disappear. When they talk about what would end, and that came with Jesus, right? So, here's the thing, we have to build our relationship with Jesus. We have to understand who Jesus is. Not just know Jesus, because the demons know Jesus, Satan knows Jesus, they're still going out, right? The difference is a relationship. You don't have to be this crazy running around Christian, you know what I mean? You just got to be a Christian. Just so dedicated and in love with him, with Jesus. Right? That you're called one of his believers and your salvation is sealed. Right? If some of you funny people, God's not trying to change you for being funny. Some of you grouchy people, God's not trying to change that. He's just changing your heart to be in love with him. The more you love him, the more you understand what he's doing, and the more you start to change. Not because God is trying to change you, but because you want to be like him. So crazy. Everybody says, oh, God may change me. I don't want to change you. You're going to have a desire to want to change you because you want to reflect the one you love. And that's a good sign that you're heading in a good place. Does that make sense? So, I want us to remember this. We're going to get ready for communion. Yeah. I thought she was like peeking over there, wigging me out. Oh, by the way, guys. Okay, well, let me end the message. But you guys understand what the message is about? It's really simple. Now, you guys probably know, say, I'm going to hear this, and again. You're going to hear this a lot in Hebrews. You know why? Because that's what it's saying. It's pounding this into our head to the point we get it. Because some people, they still know, but they haven't gotten a hold of the truth. Knowledge is awesome. It helps us to grow. But that knowledge without relationship is worthless. It's worthless. They both have to be together in order that we can be saved. So if you think just because you was brought up in the church and that you know Jesus, you're going to be saved, I really hate to bum with you. But that's a far-fetched possibility. Relationship with Jesus, knowing who your Jesus is what's going to save you. You know, and that's my hunger. My hunger is to know more of God. To know more about the Lord. Right? That I would understand. I felt kind of weak out over there. I was walking like it was the kind of the altar boy. I used to go Catholic church, huh? You're like, what? You're just missing the robe. Again, I challenge you guys to know Jesus in a very personal way. This is 2018, right? Let's start our year off with a great plan to get closer to Jesus. Remember I was sharing with you and I was sharing on mini church. My heart, my goal is to make God stop when I start worshiping. Right? Not only when I sing, and anytime, once I open my Bible, the Lord stops and goes, oh, a worshiper just showed up. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to sit down with my worship group. We're going to read, singing. Oh, I'm going to stop. I'm going to sing with my worship group. Are we people that cause God to stop what He's doing and turn to us? That's my goal. Right? Because if we can do that, then I tell you this much, we have no problem setting the roof on fire for Jesus and releasing the anointing in the world we live in. But in order for us to release an anointing, we have to have it. Amen? Let's pray.